family photos, peaceful painting, a family band, leisurely bike riding. Maybe this family is going to be normal after all. Hey guys, it's Razjaz. As we continue the timeline of the Rusty Lake saga, we find our way back to my favorite game in the series, Rusty Lake Roots. This game has so much content that it takes 3 parts to cover. Sorry about the long delay between my last video and this one, but I want to start doing content more frequently. Still have way more Rusty Lake content to go, but other than that, I'll also be uploading some other topics. Anyways, like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to support the channel, and you can hit the bell for notifications. I'll also include my social media down below. Keep in mind there's going to be spoilers ahead, so if you want to play the games, this is the order, but we're going chronologically, so we're going to go back to Rusty Lake Roots. Harvey. Harvey is seen coming from Rusty Lake Hotel in 1891. And that makes sense because in 1893 we see him working there, and then the tragic event happens in 1894. After these events, we never see him in his human form again. Now that we're done covering the years of 1893 and 1894, we can continue back to the 1890s with the Vanderboom family history. 1895 winter, the wedding photo. Leonard Vanderboom is introduced, who is the biological son of Samuel and Ida. How scandalous, a child before marriage in the 1800s. The family seems to be supportive, as there has been no quarrels over this that we have seen, and they continue to get ready for the family photo. Each of them needs their appropriate hat that distinguishes them and their personality. While trying to find their hats, we see an Easter egg of a cube when we're unlocking a drawer, and solve puzzle after puzzle. They all have fairly normal hats, and of course the bride has a wedding veil. But the interesting one is that Albert still has his snow mask from the dark level that we had seen earlier. Ah, what a beautiful family. I hope they all live long, healthy lives. Summer of 1896, the painting, with Emma Vanderboom. Emma's not doing well, so she's resorted to painting. Her hobby of gardening seems to take the sidelines as she continues her new hobby of painting. She gathers all kinds of materials for painting, all in the meanwhile being really depressed that her son is still missing, even though he's right in her backyard a few feet away from her. She's definitely not taking this lightly because her hair has whitened and she has wrinkles, aging very fast for a young adult. Her gardening actually does give her a hint as to what to paint, because the flowers correspond to the colors that she must use in her painting. Her artwork is clearly a depiction of her surroundings, with her family's house and symbolic tree. And then, something sinister becomes clear. Emma's depicted in a horrifying fashion in the painting, and there's some mysterious figure in the background watching her. To our dismay, we witness Emma mirroring the exact fate that she had in the painting. Why is there so much emphasis on her teardrop? Well, it's not just to represent the sadness she had for her son. It's also clearly an indicator that it's going to be a sacrifice in the quest for whatever is going on. And there are still 7 left. Winter 1896, the Lying Game. There's a lot to take in here right from the start. We have Samuel, Ida, Albert, and Mary. Sorry you outlived your daughter. This room is a nice recap of the events of the family so far, with a wedding photo that we had seen earlier, and other pictures and paintings which will be very important. Let's look at a Rusty Lake newspaper. It clearly documents the incident that happened with Harvey and Emma's death. With some detective work, we start investigating each family member. Emma's first claim is that a card is hidden in the top left of a photograph, and she is correct. Next, she tells us that there's a locker code that ends with 94, and as we'll see later, that's also correct. But once she says it is summer, we know that she's lying. According to the table, she is the chariot, because she only lied once. Let's move on to her normal child. Samuel's first claim is that his sister died, and we all witnessed that, so that's definitely true. His next alleged fact is not related to the family necessarily, but it has to do with the locker code. He states that it begins with 37, and when we combine him and his mom, both of their claims match up for the locker code. And now for the moment of truth, we see his last claim, which is that a key can be found in the bottom right hand corner of the painting. And in this painting of Mr. Crow, the said key is found. What better way to transition to his wife than with a similar clue? But her key claim was a lie. Ida also suggests another locker code variation, but we already know that the real one was not the one with the numbers that she gave. Finally, the disturbing one. Ida says that the devil has a photo of her in his pocket, and Albert actually does have one in his pocket. So that has to mean, now that we've put the cards down and figured out who was lying and who was telling the truth, that Albert checks out as a devil because that's a card description, and that he's about to tell us 3 very big lies. Lie number 1, I don't love Ida. Well, buddy, with that photo in your pocket, I don't think you're fooling anyone. He says that his brother is not married. Yeah. That's the most objectively obvious lie. Finally, he says that there's a card hidden at the right of the painting, but we already checked that painting and it only had a key. Albert, we should have known right from the beginning that you were the devil, especially with all the things that you've done. Okay, let's use the key to find the last tarot card for the devil. With all the roles finally assigned, it's now time to look outside. What a pleasant surprise. It's a deer mask, but underneath it is Mr. Crow. Again, he's involved in this slippery storyline. And with a new mask, Albert is ready for a whole new stage. As we continue in the family tree, the next event will actually take place almost a decade later. Summer 1904, the family band. Ida, Samuel, Leonard, and Albert have gathered to perform for Mary Vanderboom. She just wants to hear her family perform a nice tune for her as she rocks in her rocking chair. But the jar on the table suggests that something bad is coming. Once all of the music notes are assembled, it's time for the family to play. There will be blood, a quote from Mr. Crow. Instead of Albert and the parents, now there's voodoo dolls and a very confused and traumatized child. And what about Mary? Well, poor Mary, I'm pretty sure she's just had a heart attack from what she witnessed. And her teeth become the next sacrifice. Yeah, maybe it wasn't a good idea to believe in Albert after he was deemed the devil. Well, this family sure isn't the brightest. And so another sacrifice is gotten, where we now have 4. The tears of Emma Vanderboom and the teeth of Mary Vanderboom mean that there are now 6 left to gather. Moving on. Summer 1904, Voodoo, so the same time. Just on the 2nd floor, Albert has his brother and sister-in-law controlled by dark voodoo, and they don't seem to be thinking pleasant thoughts. And with 2 jars in sight, we know the drill. Albert wants 2 circular objects, but what? Taking Samuel's pipe, we're able to transfer that flame to a candle. Lighting his voodoo doll puts him in a very uncomfortable situation. Not only is he put on fire, but he also bashes his arm into a lantern for Albert to acquire a key, all against his will. Poor Ida is in for a more painful fate. Love stabs you in the heart, so Albert decides to take revenge on his crush. Each face on the safe corresponds to different emotions she has, depending on different arm positions by voodoo magic. Ida, why did you marry into this family if you could predict the future? Anyways, grabbing the scissors, a button is cut from each doll's face, which translates to their eyes. Scooping the eyes out, we back away, but checking back in, the lovely couple is now no more. Albert's jealousy has led to murder. Samuel and Ida, as inseparable as they have been for their whole lives, now have their eyeballs become the 5th and 6th sacrifices together. How fitting. Branching to grow larger, the tree grows again, and a reminder of the sacrifices are shown once more, but we still have 4 more to go. Summer 1909, The Brood. 5 years later, we find ourselves in a room underneath the family tree. Albert is up to something, as Sanskrit indicates a hungry ghost. In these games, a corrupted soul. He also needs a jar of some kind, so naturally we must search for one. Found it. Looking in his box, we see a creepily maintained photo of Ida and her egg, somehow incubated all these years. Onto the grating. A mysterious man reaches out. We trade a potato to him for flints. But who is this man? When we return to check, he's gone. The flints heat the experiment. Next, we delivered a jar to Albert, and anyways, after that situation, the experiment is carried out. By now it's clear that this is an artificial creation of a test tube baby from Ida and Albert. Yeah, this baby is set up to fail with Albert as her father. But who knows, maybe there's hope. Now this is the perfect segue from the artificial, possibly hungry soul to her normally conceived cousin. Spring 1914, the war hero. Right from this year, it's evident that it is the beginning of World War I, and Leonard is conveniently at the age range of the usual draft. He's a smart kid because he's definitely trying his hardest to escape this house full of wackos. A bike lies on the ground, ready to be repaired. Newspapers scattered on the floor recount recent events: World War I, the mysterious situations in Rusty Lake, and the murder of Leonard's parents. With such a messed up family life, he looks to the aid of pigeons to get his missing parts. Piece by piece, they return, and the man is able to make a fully functional motorbike. Tally-ho! Leonard is the only family member that we see escape the house and go somewhere else. But winter 1918, the trenches, he's right back there. Did Leonard really think he'd be able to escape? His body lies motionless, and a cap hints at what has to be done. Taking a closer look reveals a bruised body and the fact that he doesn't seem to be able to awaken. Time to play doctor. His missing leg is replaced, bullets are removed from wounds, and band-aids do the final trick. Oh no. Time to experience Leonard's PTSD. Flashes of bombs are seen in the trenches, and poor Leonard seems to wish he was in his home right now. A grenade goes off, and we witness both his corpse somehow and a corrupted soul. How is he dead? Time to venture back in. This time, the grenade conjures his dead parents as corrupted souls. He wakes up again. Why does he keep dying if he's still alive? So we continue, and then the next corrupted soul is Albert, the murderer. Each corrupted soul seems to have relevance to Leonard's life. Once again, he goes under. I feel bad for him. How much do we need to cycle through his trauma until we get, oh, Mr. Crow? We officially find out that we're Mr. Crow's brother. With a key, it's revealed that we, Mr. Crow's brother, are the reason Leonard actually survives a gas explosion. A gas mask is given by us to Leonard. The grenade goes off one last time, and our meddling just leads him to losing a lower leg and foot, the latter of which becomes available to us as a sacrifice. For the first time, the sacrifice is acquired with the donor still living afterwards. Leonard's foot is now the 7th sacrifice, and we have 3 more to go. Fall 1919. Communication. Rose is 10 years old, and she's communicating with us. But how?
Can you hear me?
With a Ouija board, of course. Unusual though, because we haven't talked to anyone before.
What is your first name?
2 paintings in the room show 2 brothers, but the one of William shows a corrupted soul. So we are William. But I am a clown, because I make so many mistakes trying to spell his name over and over and over. Thank you. Don't judge me, Rose.
What is your last name?
Well, by now we know we're William Vanderboom, who has the family last name.
Do you want my key?
In this game, you always take a free key.
What do you want?
What do we want? Oh, that's us. So we're a corrupted soul, and we're dead, so we want to live.
What do you need to live again?
Well, according to this box, we need sacrifices. The sacrifices we've been getting are all just to be reborn.
What do you need to open the gate?
Now, we don't know about a gate yet, but it seems to need timepieces.
I will help you.
Yes, you will, Rose. Rose will be a huge part in the quest to reincarnate William. So we've been manipulating things as a corrupted soul. That's crazy. And the tree will be reaped of fruit in the next timeline part. See ya!